Find the first and second derivative of x squared plus y squared equals 25. All right, so in this case, we're going to have to use implicit differentiation, right, because of the y squared here, right? I mean, we could try to solve for y, but we do end up with the plus or minus square root, right? So y squared is like 25 minus x squared. So y is the plus or minus square root of 25 minus x squared. So yeah, that we don't want to do that. We'll just use implicit differentiation, right? So remember, with implicit differentiation, whenever we take the derivative with respect to y, we need to multiply that by dy dx, right? Because it's also combined with the chain rule, right? We're assuming that y is a function of x. So let's write this out, right? We're going to take the derivative with respect to x of x squared, and the derivative with respect to x of y squared, and the derivative with respect to x of 25. Well, what is this guy, right? That's just 2x. Okay? But what is this one here? Remember, we are taking the derivative with respect to x. We are assuming that y is a function of x, right? So we get 2y dy dx, which equals 0, right? So now you notice, hey, I can just solve this guy for dy dx, right? It's going to be negative 2x over 2y. So dy over dx is negative x over y. And that's the first derivative, right? But wait a minute, what's the second derivative? Well, we just take dy dx again. Now you notice when we take dy dx of this side, okay, we get d squared x over dy squared, which is what we want. But now we have to take the derivative of this. In this case, just have to use the quotient rule, right? So remember, if you have f over g, right, then the derivative of this quotient will be g f prime minus fg prime all over g squared. Once again, whenever you take the derivative with respect to y, you have to multiply that by dy dx. So let's take a look at what we get. All right, so we get y times the derivative of negative x, which is negative 1, minus f, which is negative x. I'll just change that to a plus x here, times the derivative of y. Well, that's just 1, but it's dy dx. And all of this over y squared. Okay? But wait a minute. I know what dy dx is, right? Dy dx is negative x over y. So I can just plug that in, negative y plus x, and negative x over y, all over y squared. We'll do a little bit of simplification here, right? I'll cancel these out. So I get negative 1 over y. In this case, negative x squared over y cubed, right? And this should be my second derivative.